You're live, but I'm feeling dead. This is the Aaron Zero show with another edition of today's noise. And what do we have here? Well, we have the 22nd day of the Iran war, started by USA and Israel. And Mr. Trump says that, of course, the war has ended or that he has had a lot of success. He has blown away the Navy, the Air Force, the Iranians, and degraded them. But the Israelis, of course, are not keen to end the war. They want to continue. And of course, I think the only way they would end is if they are roundly and soundly defeated. That is what I think. I may be wrong. But today there was an Iranian response in the attack on a city called Dimona in the Negev desert of Israel. And it seems it was only very close to their nuclear facility where they're probably stocking the nuclear bombs or missiles. So close call for them. And apparently there were 100 injuries or maybe casualties. I do not know. So Iran is giving it back while USA and Israel have written it off, and they say that they're almost finished with them. But I don't see the Iranians finished with the war. I think they're in it for a long haul, and there is a lot that remains unknown about the Iranian missile strength and prowess, if you may. They fired a missile towards the Diego Garcia Island, which is a US UK base. It's more than 2 or 3 thousand miles away, and apparently it landed pretty close there. And of course, they won't say whether it really landed right in there or what, but quite amazing. So it means if they have a capability of about 2,000 miles, then a lot of the European capitals are well within the reach of Iran if it so wants to launch missiles, especially England, for example, and any of the other countries willing to help the US cause. So that I think is the reason why a lot of the European Union is not keen to enter the war. And Mr. Trump very graciously called them cowards. That's what he says. This is a man who wanted to dodge the war in Vietnam and is known as a draft dodger. So that is Mr. Trump's record amongst a lot of other records, which we won't go into. So that is the state of the Iran war, a very sorry state. And of course, now while Mr. Trump says that the war has ended, apparently thousands of troops are being sent towards the Iran area. So it's like a contradictory statement. And according to commentators, Mr. Trump may attempt a landing on Karg Island, which is the Iranian oil facility, a major facility from where they export the oil. So I don't know how the Iranians will respond to that. And to land on the Karg Island, they would have to get past all the bombs and missiles being thrown at them by the Iranians, and possibly they might have to have combat with Iranian forces on the island. So I don't know how that would work out. All in all, it's a game of foolishness and unnecessary war, whereas some commentators have suggested that dialogue and diplomacy should have been used rather than outright and illegal aggression, call it whatever you will. I mean, there are so many countries who don't like the other country's system of government. Should that then be an excuse for them to launch an attack? I think the jury's out on that. There may be many countries that don't like the American system or the leaders there presently. Should they start dropping bombs on America? I mean, that is the logic of Mr. Trump. And of course, he has said that Cuba is next on the list. I don't know whether Cuba wants to be on the list. And Mr. Trump has threatened to cut off the power supply in Iran by dropping bombs on or missiles on their power grid. And Iran, has, in converse, has threatened to do the same to the power supply in the Gulf Coast countries. And the Gulf Coast countries have exposed themselves for what they are behind all the white smiles and whatever, uh, as Iran describes them as family dictatorships. Probably that's what they are. They have been a haven for commerce, etc., Dubai, for example. But if you are there in the Gulf Coast nations and you have the American bases there, and you tell America to attack Iran, which is your neighbor right there, then how is your neighbor going to feel? I don't think so very happy. This is my feeling. I may be wrong. Uh, so that is the reason why, one of the reasons at least, why Iran is also attacking the Gulf Coast countries. Essentially, they're attacking the American bases there, and they've caused considerable damage to the bases which have been struck. And their next line of target has been all the oil production facilities, gas facilities, etc., in the region. They've caused serious damage in Qatar to their natural gas facility, and I believe the damage is in excess of $20 billion. And the plant will be taking at least 2 to 5 years to be refurbished and be in operating capacity. So that is a major loss there for Qatar and for the rest of the world, which depends upon Qatari natural gas, etc., helium, urea, and sulfur for fertilizers and things like that. India has made temporary arrangements for fertilizer and is trying to boost up the production for the summer crop and the winter crop, etc. And so are the other countries doing the same. But in the long run, if this war continues, then of course they would have to make other arrangements. And the defense minister of India, Mr. Rajnath Singh, said that if the war continues, then there would be a problem in the fertilizer and energy sectors. But they seem to be in a comfortable position as far as coal output is concerned. And they have done about 1 billion tons of coal has been stocked up. And so that is ready for all the thermal power plants. And so it's again a lesson in switching to renewable energies and alternative sources of energy, maybe nuclear power, sun, solar, etc. And it is time to wean away the world from the fossil industry, so to speak. And that is where the situation stands just now. But of course, an unnecessary war, and the brunt of the suffering would be in the Iranian people, all those bombs falling, and I think at last count it was 1,500 people killed. And in any war, it's the civilians who get hurt. And that whole area, Iran, Syria, Lebanon, etc., it is the civilians who are suffering the most from these attacks, unwarranted attacks, attacks of aggression. And now the Israelis are getting a taste of what the people in Gaza went through with these repeated attacks on Israel. So Iran is attacking them in the southern and central Israel and Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. So Israelis are finding out firsthand how it feels to have bombs raining down on you. And it's a sorry situation and a sad situation. And hopefully, better sense will prevail, but who knows? And there are a lot of American commentators say that Mr. Trump wants to continue the war. Otherwise, if he doesn't, then he's facing prison term. And the same is the case for Mr. Netanyahu, who is also accused of war crimes, etc. On the local front, Prime Minister Modi has spoken to the Gulf Coast leaders and has also spoken to the Iranian president and has requested that the uh, chain of navigation be open, the Strait of Hormuz be open. And of course, he has commiserated with the Gulf country leaders, but I think he should also commiserate with the Iranian leaders because it was Iran that was unilaterally attacked. But I guess India is playing a delicate balancing act, trying not to upset America and Israel. So, what can I say? I think I better be silent on that. And in other news, we have villages in Gujarat who are going to adopt cow dung and agricultural waste and food waste into a compost system that will produce gas. So they will be completely off natural gas, LPG cylinder usage. And so that is probably a way to go forward to break the chain of natural gas dependence, which depends upon the importation of such gas. So 100 villages in Gujarat are going to operate that model. And that's a model that other parts of India can do because cow dung is widely available in most parts of India. We have plenty of cows, etc., plenty of agricultural waste. So we could create more of those plants. Of course, they're not cheap. I believe the current plant will cost about 60 crores, but in the long run, it will pay for itself, and we will not have to worry about importation of gas and natural resources and fossil fuels also. And what else do we have to say? BTS, the Korean pop group, has played its first concert in Seoul, and their latest album has already sold out for 4 million copies in 24 hours. And the group is back after a 4 year hiatus because one or two members had to go and do the army service. So that is wonderful news for all you BTS fans. I myself don't listen to that music. I don't know what it's about. I grew up on ancient rock and roll. And so, good luck to you all, and thank you for watching.